Hey everyone, Noah Zerby here. This is one of a series of short videos addressing decision-making models in foreign policy. In this video, we're going to look at the bureaucratic politics model. You should remember from our earlier video that the default way we tend to think about the policy process is the rational actor model. Under that model, we assume that decision makers are guided by the national interest and use a sort of cost-benefit analysis to weigh the various options available to them in order to achieve their goals. The bureaucratic politics model breaks with the rational actor model in a couple of important ways, but perhaps the most important is that it conceptualizes decisions resulting from political struggles within the government. That is, it views the policy process as the outcome of a struggle with multiple actors or between multiple actors within the government, each of whom holds different preferences and worldviews and are forced to bargain, compete, and struggle to determine policy outputs. The positions advocated by each agency reflects the bureaucratic interests and priorities, a conclusion captured by Rufus Miles' observation that where you stand depends on where you sit. Policy decisions may or may not then correspond to the national interest, even to the extent that such an interest can be identified. Rather, they're more likely the result of bargaining advantages and coalitions or organizational effectiveness or a host of other factors. The struggle between bureaucratic agencies should hardly come as a surprise, as they frequently compete against one another for funding, personnel, prestige, and influence. And the scope of the foreign policy or bureaucracy, in fact, often encourages such struggles. While the Department of State, the Department of Defense, and the National Security Council have mandates and missions focused primarily on questions of foreign policy, a number of other agencies and departments address questions of foreign economic policy, of political democratization and development, intelligence, and other transboundary or intermestic issues. As a result, the struggle over foreign policy making becomes contested and politicized. When we look closely, we see such bureaucratic politics playing out in foreign policy decision-making all the time. When the United States considers implementing sanctions on a country as a tool of foreign policy, we often find that the Departments of Commerce and Agriculture frequently argue against the imposition of sanctions, citing concerns about the impact they may have on American exports, while the State Department and the Department of Defense are generally more supportive of them. Similarly, after the 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown in China, the State Department's Bureau of Human Rights supported the imposition of sanctions on China, while the State Department's East Asia Bureau opposed them, citing concerns over the negative impacts they may have on U.S.-China relations. We sometimes see this play out in inter-service rivalries as well, where cooperation between the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force gives way to competition over defense budget, higher profile, improved access to decision makers, or other perceived advantages. And such tendencies are not unique to the United States. In Japan, a decision by the government in the early 1990s on whether or not to permit sushi imports, thereby weakening Japan's traditional ban on the importation of rice from foreign suppliers, pit the Ministry of Agriculture, who wanted to continue the prohibition on imports and protect the markets for Japanese farmers, against the Japanese Foreign Ministry, which wanted to allow the imports in order to smooth relations with the United States. And in a more recent example, research by Keene and Deason found that infighting between U.S. aid and the Departments of State and Defense over project funding and support created sharp divides in the overall U.S. mission in Afghanistan, undermining a unified process of nation building and ultimately contributing in part to the failure of the U.S. mission there. The problem was particularly pronounced, they found, in issues that fell between the cracks, that is, for issues that did not fit neatly into the mandate of one of the bureaucratic agencies involved. So what can we take away? How does the bureaucratic politics model differ from the rational actor model, and what does that add to our understanding of foreign policy? The differences should be clear. In terms of the way they view actors, the rational actor model views the state as a unitary actor arriving at foreign policy decisions, while the bureaucratic politics model emphasizes the competitive nature of decision-making resulting from struggles between the various agencies, departments, and others that comprise the foreign policy bureaucracy. The rational actor model views the process itself as an intellectual exercise in weighing costs and benefits of specific actions, while the bureaucratic politics model emphasizes the social and political struggles central to creating public policy. The objectives of policy decisions, according to the rational actor model, is the pursuit of the national interest. By contrast, the bureaucratic politics model emphasizes the pursuit of bureaucratic interests, that is, of the struggle for budget, personnel, and access between the various bureaucratic agencies. Such struggles, it should be noted, may be rational from the perspective of the individual bureaucratic unit, but may be viewed as irrational when perceived from the perspective of the national interest. According to the rational actor model, policy decisions will seek to maximize interests and minimize costs. That is, they'll seek the greatest benefit for the lowest cost. But from the perspective of bureaucratic politics, policy outcomes are the result of compromise and may only satisfy interests rather than maximizing them. And finally, from the perspective of the rational actor model, implementation is merely an administrative or technical process of carrying out decisions already made, but the bureaucratic politics model recognizes that implementation itself is a political process and likely a site for continued struggle between the various bureaucratic agencies. So that concludes our brief introduction to the bureaucratic politics model of decision-making. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series, and thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.